How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing another absolute banger of Platinum. Today, we've got another one from Coliseum Studio called Rolling Ball, and you're looking at only $1 on the PlayStation Store with just one worldwide stack for PS5. This is a little rage bait game, if I'm being honest with you. Your goal is to roll your ball along a bunch of platforms to get to the finish line at the end, but my god is it way more annoying than that. The platforms feel like ice, there's absolutely no friction anywhere, and the actual movement of the ball is, in a word, absurd. The acceleration scales from about 1 to 1,000 in a second and a half, so actually gauging how fast you're going, not to mention your ability to then slow down and stop, feels like an exercise in futility. But hey, at least you can jump. Trophy-wise, you've got 16 total, 2 bronze, 3 silver, 10 gold, and the platinum, and you've only got one goal here to get through all 15 levels of the game. The levels do get progressively more difficult as you get further into the game, with the addition of moving platforms, different verticalities in platforms, and the dreaded just barely higher or lower than the next platform that will completely stop your momentum and force you to figure out how to safely jump off of it. If you can't tell by now, I did not enjoy this one. This took me about 9 minutes to finish, and I'd expected to take about that long as well. It's not fun, it's annoying the vast majority of the time, but with only 15 levels to finish and most of them taking only a few seconds to get through, it's thankfully not going to take you very long to get through, so that's one positive. Plus, for only $1 in under 10 minutes, you can test whether you're over that breaking your controller phase of your life. Don't do it, they're so expensive nowadays. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a Platinum. Today, we've got another one from Zidalon called Downward, and you're looking at only $1 on the PlayStation Store with all 4 region stacks for PS4, no PS5 version for this one. This is a little arcadey game where you're trying to use your triangle to move the green platform back and forth, making sure that you only get hit by balls that have turned yellow. The balls will be red as they drop, but once they hit the green platform, they'll turn yellow and give you points if they hit your triangle, determined by how big the ball is. Trophy-wise, you've got 12 total, 11 gold and the platinum, and this is your typical Zidalon trophy list. You need to get 150 points in a single run, die 10 times, survive for 40 seconds in a single run, and destroy 250 balls total, all of which, aside from dying obviously, you can do in just a few runs if you use my strat and have a teeny tiny bit of luck on your side. I found the easiest way to get through this is just to slide your triangle all the way to one side or the other. I always pick the right side for whatever that's worth, and just kinda leave it there. For whatever reason, being on one of the sides just makes the balls either miss you completely or bounce first before hitting you. There is a tiny bit of luck to this method. Every once in a while, a rogue ball will take a bad bounce and take you out, but for literally 0 effort, you can get this finished in a few tries, so that's not bad for a Zidalon game if you ask me. This took me about 5 minutes to finish, and I'd expected to take about that long as well. Odds are you're going to get the rest of the trophies out of the way pretty quickly, and you're just going to be left with the trophy for destroying 250 total balls. It's just a grind, so just keep your triangle to one side and let the game get the platinum for you. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today, we've got another one from Aphil Games called Collie Farm of Tomorrow, and you're looking at $5 cross-buy on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This is the second game in their Collie series of farm dog-themed Sokoban puzzle games. You're a border collie, you're pushing these sheep around to get them onto their little grass pasture spots, and you're going to be using oil slicks, treadmills, big blocks, holes in the ground, and buttons to get them there. Your regular Sokoban rules apply here. You can only move blocks up, down, left, or right, the edges are your enemy, and you've got an undo and restart button if you need it. Trophy-wise, you've got 22 total, 4 bronze, 9 silver, 8 gold, and the platinum, and this is your typical Aphil Games Sokoban trophy list. You're going to unlock most of the trophies while you play through the first 16 levels. You have to use restart and undo 10 times each, both of which you can grind out in the first level, and you're going to have to use the buttons, treadmills, oil slicks, and big blocks a number of times, most of which is probably going to unlock while getting through those 16 levels. Treadmills don't show up until level 17, that's why we need to finish 16 levels to get there. Once you're at 17, just move a sheep over to a treadmill, push it, use undo, and repeat that until platinum. This took me about a half hour going in completely blind, but I had a couple levels that I genuinely struggled with. I think most people would be able to get this finished in around 20 minutes or so, but if you're following along with my guide, I'd expect you to get this done in under 15, maybe even 10, without much of an issue. No running commentary for this one, but I'm going to leave timestamps down below for each of the levels, so all you have to do is follow along. Get those extra trophies that I mentioned out of the way while you work your way through, and you'll get it done in no time. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today, we've got another one from Colosseum Studio called Medieval Escape, and you're looking at only $1 on the PlayStation Store with just one worldwide stack for PS5. This is another one of those rage bait games similar to their previous release, Labyrinth Run, which I covered a few weeks back. You're some lady that's trapped in a dungeon, you're trying to escape said dungeon, and you're going to have to deal with a ton of spinning blades, saws, pendulum axes, retractable spikes. There's more, but you get the idea. Seeing as it's a rage bait game, the camera isn't great, the hitbox on your feet while you jump feels like it takes up the entire screen, you're going to die a ton, and you're not going to have any fun whatsoever. Trophy-wise, you've got 15 total, 4 silver, 10 gold, and the platinum, and this is basically the exact same trophy list as Labyrinth Run, so if you played that, you know what you're getting into here. You're going to have to beat the game by going through all the checkpoints, you have to die a few times, and you have to finish it in under 5 minutes. As far as I could tell, there really aren't any shortcuts to be found to get around the more frustrating of the checkpoints, so you're just going to have to clench your teeth and bear it for this one. For what it's worth, I finished my first run in about 5.5 minutes, with my second run only taking 2.5, so if you're not able to get through it on your first try, it definitely helps knowing what you've got in store for you on your second run. Like I said, this took me about 5.5 minutes on my first try and 2.5 on my second, so a total of about 8 minutes exactly to get this one finished. You might be able to get it done on your first try and come in under that 5-minute mark, but I figure anything under 10 to 15 minutes is a pretty good time for this one once you get a handle on how to get around the different traps effectively. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today we've got another one from Aphil Games called Minos Dungeon, and you're looking at $5 cross-buy on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This is essentially a Sokoban, but with the added quirk of being able to punch through the crumbly stone blocks you'll find on the map. You're Ferdinando the Minotaur, and you're working your way through the labyrinth by pushing blocks around, punching through any stones that help you get to the chest full of loot at the end of the level. The blocks you're pushing are what fills the gaps in the floor, letting you either progress to a further part of the level or get you to the loot at the end, and you're going to end up finding stop tiles, redirect arrows, and trapdoors that'll help you figure the puzzles out. Trophy-wise, you've got 26 total, 9 bronze, 9 silver, 7 gold, and the platinum, and this is your pretty basic Sokoban trophy list. You have to finish the first 18 levels, weird number I know, and most of the trophies are going to unlock along the way while you get through those, but you're going to have to use undo and restart 5 times, as well as completing 5 levels without using undo, all of which you can grind out in the first level of the game. This took me about an hour going in completely blind, but I had a couple levels that I genuinely struggled with. I think most people would be able to get this finished in under 20 minutes or so, but if you're following along with my guide, I'd expect you to get this done in under 15, maybe even as low as 10 minutes, without much of an issue. No running commentary for this one, but I'm going to leave timestamps down below for each of the levels, so all you have to do is follow along. Get those extra trophies that I mentioned out of the way while you work your way through, and you'll get it done in no time. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today we've got another one from Guarida Games called Legends St. George, and I'm not sure about the price at the time of recording this, but it's got 2 stacks, 1 worldwide stack each for PS4 and PS5. This is another one of their branching path visual novels. If you remember my coverage of one of their previous releases, Die by Anything, this is very much the same kind of game and trophy list. You're following along with the myth of St. George and the dragon, and your decisions are going to be what determines the fate of the knight, the realm, and the princess you're trying to save from the dragon. You even get to meet up with Don Quixote, Joan of Arc, and what is definitely just Zorro from One Piece. Trophy-wise, you've got 23 total, 10 bronze, 3 silver, 9 gold, and the platinum, and the trophies basically just revolve around exploring each of the branching paths, all of which you can see really easily in the handy scene selector in the start menu. All the choices come down to pretty simple A, B, or C choices, and it only takes one choice to move into the next scene. If all you're trying to do here is get the platinum as fast as possible, just go through the game picking A every time until you hit the credits, head into the scene selector, pick a branching point that has a scene you haven't done yet, and just pick the other choices. It really is a super simple visual novel, and the scene selector makes it as easy as possible to blow right through it. This took me about 25 minutes or so to finish, and I'd expect it to take about that long as well. If you're just going for the platinum, it's basically just a grind of going through all the scenes to the credits, going back to a branching spot, and doing it all over again, over and over, until you've got the platinum. I figure anything under a half hour is a pretty good time for this platinum, but I can see people getting this done closer to the 20-minute mark without much of an issue. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing another absolute banger of a platinum. Today we've got another one from Nostra Games called Giant Flea, and you're looking at $1.50 on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This does have auto pop as well as region stacking, so once you finish the platinum on PS4, you can head into the PS5 version and get yourself a second platinum immediately. This is a little arcadey game where you're running towards the screen away from a giant in the background, avoiding anything that's on the ground as well as the giant as it tries to slam a fist down, slap at you, or toss something where you're standing. After a while of running forward, you'll hit the finish line, go back to the main menu, start the next level, and that's your entire gameplay loop. Trophy-wise, you've got 36 total, 35 silver and the platinum, and you've only really got one goal here, to run for a total of 250 meters across however many levels and tries it takes for you to get there. The game itself is pretty straightforward. The only thing you'll want to watch out for is how the giant telegraphs which attacks it's going to do. If it raises a single fist in the air, it's going to drop it down on that side of the road. If it raises an open hand, it's going to slap it down in the middle of the screen, then swipe towards the side the hand is on. If it lifts both hands and a fist together, it's going to slam it down in the middle of the screen. If it lifts both fists away from each other, it's going to slam down on either side of the road. And if it cocks back to throw something at you, it's going to track where you're running for a bit before throwing it. It might take a few tries to get the hang of each of the moves, but it really isn't all that complicated. This took me about 4 minutes to finish, and I'd expect it to take about that long as well. Even if you keep losing, you're still moving the meters total forward, so you could, in theory, get this finished in the first level if you're truly god-awful at the game. Either way, I figure anything under 5 minutes is a pretty good time for this platinum, and I don't see you taking much longer than that. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing another absolute banger of a platinum. Today, we've got another one from T Games called the Jumping Bonbon Match 2, and you're looking at $2.50 cross-buy on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This does have auto pop, so once you finish the platinum on PS4, you can head into the PS5 version and get yourself a second platinum immediately. If you played the first Jumping Bonbon Match game, you already know what's going on with this one, as it's the exact same game. You've got a colored group of squares on the top of the screen, you've got a colorless group of squares on the bottom of the screen with colored buttons next to it, and you're going to be pressing the buttons trying to color in the squares so that they match the top set of squares. Trophy-wise, you've got 46 total, 32 bronze, 10 silver, 3 gold, and the platinum, and the trophies basically just revolve around getting through all 15 levels with a little grinding left over after that. Aside from the levels trophies, you're going to have to click on the buttons 300 times and flip the square tiles 900 times, most of which you'll get done while playing through those 15 levels. For reference, by the time I finished level 15, I already had 260 clicks and 780 tiles flipped, and it only took me another 30 seconds or so after that to grind out the rest of the clicks and flips I needed for the platinum. This took me about 11 minutes to finish, and I'd expect it to take about that long as well. You might be able to cut your time down a bit if you get through some of the puzzles faster than I did, but I figure anything in that 5 to 15 minute range is a pretty good time for this platinum. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today we've got another one from Aphil Games called The Pirate Trails, Tentacles, and Treasures, and you're looking at $5 cross-buy on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This is another one of their hex-based puzzle games, so if you played any of the other Bee Flowers games or the original Pirate Trails, this is basically the exact same game, but with a few extra bits added that are essentially inconsequential, as you're still just making sure you get the pirate ship from the starting point to the goal. The one added bit is the eponymous Tentacles. As you sail forward, you'll have to pick up a barrel of TNT before you get to the tentacle, which will then blow the tentacle up and let you past. But like I said, it doesn't really change the base goal of just making a path that takes you to the end. Trophy-wise, you've got 25 total, 10 bronze, 6 silver, 8 gold, and the platinum, and the trophy list is basically the same as all the other hex-based puzzle games that they've come out with, so if you played any of those, you know what you're getting into here. Your main goal is going to be to finish the first 20 levels, but you're going to have to complete 10 levels in a row without sinking and 5 levels in a row without using hints, both of which you can finish very easily by finishing level 1, using level select, going back to level 1, and just setting sail as your progress will be saved. Keep doing that over and over again until those trophies pop, then move on to the rest of the game and either use the hint system or just follow along with my guide. This took me about 30 minutes to finish, and I'd expect it to take about that long as well. Even if you're just following along with my guide, you're still just going to have to grind your way through all 20 levels, so even if you're able to shave a little time off, you're probably still going to be stuck in that 25 to 35 minute time frame for this one. How's it going, everybody? Pozermobil here, bringing you another absolute banger of a platinum. Today we've got another one from Autoslavic called Puzzle Piecer The Sky Above, and you're looking at $2 cross-buy on the PlayStation Store with all 8 major region stacks. This is another one of their Puzzle Piecer series of, well, puzzle games. You've got a puzzle, you got a bunch of puzzle pieces, and you're trying to put that puzzle together. Seriously, it's just putting a puzzle together. You know what you're doing here if you're any older than, say, 4 years old or so. Trophy-wise, you've got 12 total, 11 gold and the platinum, and you've only really got one goal here: to start the game, use the reveal button once, and then pause the game, auto-complete the puzzle, move on to the next puzzle, and repeat that until the platinum unlocks. That really is it. You don't even have to put a single piece on the board if you don't want to, if you're just going for the platinum. This took me about a minute and a half to finish by just auto-completing the puzzles and moving from level to level that way, and I'd expect you to take about that long as well. If you want to actually take the time to finish the puzzles the way it's intended, or better yet, have a younger kid who would actually get some genuine use out of this, you're probably going to be looking at around 15 to 20 minutes or so.